For Portmoak Moss, it stores the carbon footprint of 40,000 people.
Lowland raised peat bogs are very, very rare. This is a tiny fragment, but it's a measurable fragment. It's something like 0.01% of all the lowland raised peat bogs in the world.
And if a peat bog is operating right, it's soaking in carbon. It's not chucking it out.
"60-year-old conifer trees push roots into 6,000-year-old peat. 60-year-old conifer trees drain water out of 6,000-year-old peat."
So right from the beginning we realised there's two things you have to do: get the trees off and get the water table high. It had been drained to grow trees. And when we started, the water table was about half a metre below the surface, and now it's about 100 millimetres below.
And that just shows you it works. If you can help nature, it does work.
So I've spent the winter trying to go down to the moss nearly every day and limiting myself to an hour's work at a time. And I've been removing the regeneration, the growth of mostly conifer trees and birch trees. It might seem counterintuitive to be removing trees, but the point is we need the right trees in the right place. Data for September 2023 to March 2024. 114 hours removing regeneration. Total number of trees removed 6,312. 2,376 birch. 3,817 spruce. 98 Scots pine. 21 rowan. The repetitive task of removing these trees gives me something to focus on. You have to concentrate because you need to get all the roots out, and it's like a mindfulness just for that hour or two every day to be concentrating on this job in a place which is intensely peaceful and feels like a protected space.
And for a long term, I'd like to think it could have an impact on a national scale by demonstrating ways of restoring damaged mosses, and perhaps using my sums to help evaluate and plan the process.
I just could not believe that a tiny little area like this could have something that internationally important.
So making that a healthy moss is making an intervention on a community-sized project. So that's the reason that I really like it. It's doing something beyond what I can do on my own. It's something for the whole community.
It became, as it were, ours.
And if you look down, not up, I always say to people, look down, you see the sphagnum mosses, which are all the colours of jewels: pink, reds, acid greens, yellows, deep greens, and it's like looking down on the canopy of a rainforest, except it's not. It's tiny mosses, which are gradually 1 millimetre a year, gradually turning into this fantastic peat bog.
Some people count the rings on tree stumps, and some people count the depth of peat in millimetres. Peat holds memories. It cradles them in earth and carbon. Peat is a capsule of time.
There was one day that we were out pulling trees up with another group, and it was late on, it was like September, and the heather was still out. The heather was out, so it was purple, but it wasn't the colour, it was the fact that on virtually every flower head there was a bee. So we literally had to watch where we were walking because there were bees under our feet. So there must have been 10 million bees in a relatively small area.
Watching the Woodland Trust extract the trees from the top of the peat bog, where they had been for 60, 70 years. They're great big things. And had they gone in with the normal machines, tractors and tracked vehicles, blah, 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 it would have destroyed it. So they put in some high wires and they chopped the trees down and flew them out on these wires. It was just awe-inspiring. And that's a favourite memory.
In Scotland's year of history, which was 5 or 6 years ago, we thought we'd launch a time machine in the moss. So we took a peat core, we pushed a corer into the peat and drew out the peat 6 metres deep. And right at the bottom, somebody said, "Oh, what's that?" There's a little iridescent blue shard. And it was the carapace of an insect that lived there 6,000 years ago. And about halfway down, that would be when the pyramids were built.
The sounds of this space exist out with their making. They are recalled and bookmarked by those who have heard them.
My favourite sound on the moss, and you hear it almost every day, is the yaffle of a green woodpecker.
This is a bit cliched because it's one of the things the bog is known for, but it sounds spectacular. The laughing of the green woodpecker. Extraordinary noise.
The woodpeckers have figured out that instead of banging on the trees to make the call, to make the sound, that's how they can do the communicating, is by the banging sound partly. They found that by doing it on the metal gates, they get a louder sound that goes further, so they do it on there instead of the trees.
The things that really stand out as favourite sounds are actually not on the moss but above it. So the sound of swans' wings as they fly over, I don't know if you know that sound, it's a kind of swishing sound. And also sometimes I hear ravens, and they make a kind of almost like a dog-like bark.
My big hope for the future of the moss is that we can put it onto a sustainable footing.
We need the right trees in the right place.
It's a state of mind.
Thinking about the future, planning ahead kind of things.
That we win the battle with things growing back.
Total number of trees removed, 6,312.
Mosses, sphagnum mosses,
2,376 birch,
bog cotton,
3,817 spruce,
Butterflies,
98 Scots pine,
there's meadow pipits.
21 rowan.
It's a fully correct peat bog.